Welcome back to Psychology 545. In this video, I'll be discussing how to successfully complete the ethical decision-making paper. We'll be talking about the assignment process, where to post your paper, the objectives for the paper, and how to incorporate those objectives into headings. In addition, we'll be looking at some critical points of the paper. So the process for completing this paper goes like this. Select one of the 3 ethical dilemmas listed for this paper, and you'll find the ethical dilemmas listed in the scoring rubric and in the course syllabus. Based on your selected dilemma, prepare a 1,400 to 1,750 word paper in which you apply the first 14 steps of the ethical decision-making process. The ethical decision-making process is located in Chapter 9 of our text. Again, remember that you can certainly go over 1,750 words, but don't go under 1,400. When you're done, please post through the assignment link. As with all objectives, I recommend that you use the objectives as headings. The first objective for this paper is describe your selected ethical dilemma. Here's my suggested level 1 heading. Simply, my selected ethical dilemma. Okay, there's no need for a literary reference because what you're going to be doing is basically just regurgitating what the ethical dilemma is, and you can write it exactly how it's written from the rubric or the syllabus. When you're done, I will need a transition sentence that takes the reader from this particular main point or objective into the next. Now, I'm showing you the next 2 objectives here, Objective 2 and Objective 3, and I'll explain why in just a second. Objective 2 reads, define each of the first 14 steps of the ethical decision-making process. Objective 3 reads, discuss how each of the 14 steps of the ethical decision-making process applied to the ethical dilemma you selected. Now here's how I would combine both of these 2 objectives into one heading. I would simply write, again, centered on the page, bold, double-spaced, a mixture of upper and lowercase words without a period. The first 14 steps of the ethical decision-making process defined and applied to my selected scenario. I've posted in the week 3 paper guidance thread in the main forum guidance on how to do this specifically in reference to incorporating these 2 objectives, as well as how to use level 2 headings with this particular combination of objectives. Remember that you're going to need a literary reference, and the literary reference for these particular 2 main points is the text. And as a reminder about how to do an end-of-work reference, you put the last name, comma, then the initials, and in this case, because there are 2 authors, we use an ampersand, last name, initials, the year of publication, with a period, and then we put the title, Ethics in Psychotherapy and Counseling, and notice that the Ethics in Psychotherapy and Counseling is italicized, and that only ethics is capitalized. The 4th edition, in parentheses, is not italicized. It was published in San Francisco. The abbreviation for California is CA, and it's published by Josie, Bass, and Wiley. In addition to that, please make sure that you insert a transition sentence that takes the reader from this particular objective to the next. The next objective reads, explain your decision relative to the dilemma you selected. Okay? Level 1 heading would be my decision regarding my selected dilemma. You don't need a literary reference for this because you're basically going to be telling me or the reader what your decision is. You will, however, need a transition sentence to go from this particular objective or main point into the next. So, the next or last objective for this particular paper reads, explain the importance of ethical decision-making in professional psychology. The level 1 heading, the importance of ethical decision-making in professional psychology. Bold, upper and lowercase letters, double-spaced, without a period. And then support your logic for this particular main point with a literary reference that you have not yet used in this paper. Remember, we will not use transition sentences to go from the final main point into the conclusion. So again, critical points for all papers. Use a solid introductory paragraph that basically tells the reader why this material is important and lists each of the objectives for the paper. Make sure that you address each objective, use the objectives as headings, use transition sentences that helps the reader go from one main point to the next, and then use a solid concluding paragraph that reminds the reader why this material is important and basically lists each of the main points or objectives again. As always, use APA format for intakes references and for your reference page. And please, above all else, watch spelling, grammar, and punctuation. So then in this video, we've taken a look at the assignment process, where to post your paper, the paper objectives, how to turn those objectives into headings, the critical points for the paper as well. The next video covers the dual relationships and boundaries paper. Thank you.